Hey guys, Green here, and a quick break from this Greentext to bring you this video's sponsor, Over. Over is a metaverse platform that serves to build and visualize geolocated virtual reality and augmented reality experiences. And the best part is that they provide all the tools to build, host, and visualize these experiences. The plots of land that you can buy can be used for gaming, live events, virtual retail, real estate, tourism, avatars marketing, anything you want really. It's your land. Oh, well, virtual land that is. To achieve this, they divided the world into 1.6 trillion 300 meter squared hexagons called overlands. And each overland is an NFT on the Polygon blockchain. So that means no more expensive gas fees, and it's a lot better for the environment. So make sure you hurry now to secure the block of land you want. For this video, I was actually going to buy some plots of land in Queen Street, which is kind of like the hub around my local city, Brisbane. But as you can see, someone's already long since bought most of that main street there. So make sure you check out the Over website, which is a link at the bottom of the video here, as well in the description, as well as a download to the app that is also going to be in the description of this video. Now, if you really want to support this channel, supporting brands like this is the best way you can do that. This brand in particular was very nice to me and was a dream to deal with, and I can't wait to have them again in the future if they'll have me. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, the best way you can do that is literally just check out the website. That's all I ask. Have a little play around with it, download the app and see what you can do with it there. That's it, thank you so much, and now back to the Greentext. My grandpa always told me to fear rainy days. He would tell me these stories about the Red Vark, a local maximum security prison. He would tell me about the violent crimes and the deeds they did to end up there. He would explain to me how some of these men were so dangerous that they couldn't be trusted to live in normal jail cells, that they needed to be chained to the stone walls. My grandpa would tell me about the rainy days and the stormy nights, how the rain would weaken the stone, and how these men could pull the chains right out of the wall if the weather was bad enough. He showed me newspaper clippings of escapees. There were always a handful per year. He would always tell me, to a T, that the prison breaks always coincided with rainy weather. Most escapees would flee to the surrounding neighborhoods. They would try and hide in people's garages and basements, under their porches, waiting for the rain to pass. Sometimes the men would break into the houses. Sometimes the men would do unspeakable things to the residents inside those houses. We only lived 8 miles from Red Vark, and on those rainy days, my grandpa would remind me of this. My grandpa would tell me that on those rainy days, it was best just to stay in my room, to lock my door, to put some music on low, grab a comic book, and to get my head somewhere else. He even taught me how to turn my closet into a fortress of solitude. We threw up a blanket and a couple of pillows in there. I had a few posters of superheroes on the closet wall. I kept a box of comic books and baseball cards in one corner, and a metallic footlocker filled with junk food and cassette tapes in the other. My grandpa would encourage me to get in the closet when it rained, especially when it stormed. I would sit in there, listening to my Walkman. I would finger through my comic books, I'd bundle myself up against the pillows and drift to sleep. I felt safe in my closet, and I enjoyed the hours that I would spend in there on the rainy days. He would tell me that most of the time during escapes, the convicts would only hurt people that they happened to come across. If they broke into a home to avoid the police, and there was a family sitting around the TV in the living room, they would strike. He would tell me that if a Red Vark prisoner escaped, that if they came to our neighborhood, and if they broke into our house, that as long as I stayed in my closet, I'd be okay. It would be possible for a convict to find me and hurt me, but as long as I stayed in my closet fort, I'd be as safe as anyone in the town. I would remind myself on these rainy days. I would sit in my closet and think that it would make me feel safe. My grandpa disappeared one June. I lived with him alone. My parents had died years earlier. My grandpa disappeared, and I was afraid to call the police. I knew if something happened to my grandpa, the police would take me away and force me to live in a home. I didn't want to live in a home. I had a home. I kept the disappearance to myself for over a week. I'd walk myself to school. I knew where grandpa kept the emergency cash, so I could take a little here and there to the corner bodega to buy some milk and some sandwich meats. One day, about 8 days after disappearance, they let us out of school early. Storm of the century, they said. Thunder and lightning, and the heavy rain all night. The rain was so heavy that at night the local streets flooded over. On one walk home from school, the water was up to my ankles. By 9 o'clock, the water was coming up to people's knees. I got home, climbed in my little hiding space, and covered myself in a blanket. Thunderclapped outside. I was very afraid. The storm itself unsettled me, but thinking about Redvark and how easy it would be to escape during a storm like this terrified me. We lost power after a little while. I sat in the closet in darkness. I turned my Walkman on for solace. After a few hours, the music started to stutter. After a few more minutes, it stopped altogether. Batteries. Dead as doornails. I continued to sit in silence. The power hadn't come back on yet. The darkness and silence enveloped me. Then the silence was broken by a scratching noise some distance away. I ignored it at first, but it grew louder and more insistent. Finally, I reluctantly let the safety out of my fort. In the upstairs hallway, I stopped and listened. The noise was clearly coming from downstairs. I descended the stairs, my heart pounding in my chest. I got to the kitchen and stopped to listen again. The noise was still sounded as if it was coming from below me. We had no basement, so the fact that the noises were coming from beneath me was unsettling. There were more noises now, too, not just the scraping. I thought I heard moaning. I crouched low to the floor, listening. The noises got louder as I entered the living room, louder still as I entered the main corridor. I stopped on a throw rug at the end of the hallway. The noises were their loudest there, below me. I pulled the throw rug away and saw a trap door. It must have led to a basement or crawl space. I had no idea it existed. I had no idea there was anything under that rug. I wondered why it was padlocked. I grabbed a ring of old keys that hung on a hook in the mudroom. I tried the keys in the padlock, one after another. The fourth key slid into the lock, like a base runner sliding into something pounding at the bottom of the trapdoor. Thwap! Thwap! It was followed by muffled voices. I could barely make out the voices. Thwap! Help us! I understood that. I turned the key and lifted up the trapdoor. The worst smell I've ever known wafted up and hit me in the chest. I instantly heard a woman crying and a man's voice sobbing, "Thank God! Oh, thank God!" And then another. "Water! Please! We need water!" The next few days were a whirlwind. Police, media, and Gorgs descended into the house. Our small town in Arizona never saw much excitement. The news of a homegrown serial killer sent an electric jolt through the populace. The media was relentless. The police had a million questions. "Where is your grandfather?" "I don't know." "Did you know what he was doing? Did you help him hide his secret?" "No," I said. "No, never." "Did you help your grandfather bury the bodies in the backyard?" "No." "You must have helped," they said. "No, you must have helped. An old man like that wouldn't be able to dig the Arizona clay by himself." And then it hit me. "Rain," I said. The policeman looked at me blankly. "What?" "He'd wait for the rain."
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to Mr. Green and check out all of his social medias down below. My name Goda.